star of the show here. So back here you have this huge, one of the things that was my holdback on it was this is a 2-liter. When I'm climbing up really steep stuff, am I really going to have a problem?
Hey guys, what's going on? So I am up here with my buddy JP and his new rig that he just got. He was coming through town and decided to come out and hang out with us. So we're going to talk to him a little bit, see what he does and why he chose this particular rig. And this rig is pretty cool. You're going to have to check it out.
Hey everybody, my name is JP and I have a data science business and I work with customers all over, a lot of in the US. And so instead of flying in airplanes and staying in hotels anymore, I decided that I was going to start to drive to locations in a Sprinter van. And so this is actually my second Sprinter van and I love it and I wish I had done it a lot sooner. So I had a 2021 Sprinter van, 4-wheel drive to start with, and I bought it as a blank 4-wheel drive van and built it out myself and decided that after a few years, about 80,000 miles, that one of the things that I was missing is I would have meetings that were in the summertime where it was really hot and the other van didn't have air conditioning, or it was nice to have a shower, and I was going to Planet Fitness before I went to my meetings and things like that. So I was like, if I could kind of find that combination but still in 4-wheel drive, where most of the way as I'm traveling I could stay out instead of like staying again in hotels or places like that. So that was kind of the optimization that I was looking for there. I love the Mercedes platform, but the old van had a true selectable transfer case and a 6-cylinder, and the new Mercedes, they had went to a 4-cylinder and an all-wheel drive system, and I was a little bit reluctant about that, but as I've learned, it really wasn't that much of a holdup.
Nice. Heck yeah, you got up here okay.
Yeah, totally. Well, the crazy
Talk about space.
Yeah, there was a lot of space, which makes it a little bit taller. So if you got low-hanging trees, I can talk about that in a little bit. But one of the things that was my holdback on it was this is a 2-liter, and I was like, that just seems really small and really underpowered for a vehicle of this size and this weight. And without having a selectable transfer case, when I'm climbing up really steep stuff, am I really going to have a problem? And they went to a higher speeded transmission, so you got more gears in this one. This one actually has more horsepower and more torque than my 6-cylinder, and it ended up being a complete non-issue. And the all-wheel drive just works. It just really figures it out.
That probably gave you better mileage too.
It did give me better mileage. So if I will drive reasonably and listen to a podcast and cruise along around 65 or so, I'll get 18 miles to the gallon or more.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy, weighing 11,500 pounds.
That's impressive. That is really impressive. So what year and everything is, what are we looking at?
So it is a 2025 Winnebago Ekko, built on the Mercedes Sprinter chassis. People call them a Spreco. And the Spreco is basically, they make a Ford Transit chassis as well, but I wanted the Mercedes chassis. And the Mercedes chassis actually has a little bit more room. Once we get inside, you'll see that. Plus, it's Mercedes. It's got the Mercedes all-wheel drive system. It's got the Mercedes engine. The actual cab chassis part is a 2024. So Winnebago buys them, builds them, and so it's 2 different years. The Winnebago part is a 25, and the Mercedes chassis is a 24.
Yeah, that's actually kind of same with my Toyota.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got an 82 and an 83.
Yeah, that's kind of, I didn't know that coming in, but that's kind of the way that they do it.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the outside of this. You got some serious storage compartments. Now, what's one of the things that you enjoy about being in the outdoors that you can take your toys and your stuff with you?
And mountain biking, trail running, just sitting around a campfire at night, adventuring, exploring. And that's the cool thing, is it's kind of a combination of work and lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I'm going to a convention now in San Diego, but along the way I've mountain biked, I'm going to trail run some this evening. And so it's like you get to kind of
camp with friends.
Yeah, work and live, camp with friends. Meet up with people all along the way, do cool stuff like that. But yeah, this thing has a ton of storage, maybe kind of starting.
Now, some of your adventures and stuff that you do, you have your own YouTube channel.
I do have my own YouTube channel.
So what is that people want to reach out to you?
Big Sexy Beast Adventures.
Big Sexy Beast Adventures. You got to love that name.
Long backstory on that one, but tons of storage on this thing. One thing I'll point out kind of right away, if you notice how thick these walls are, so this thing's super insulated. In here, I keep an outdoor stove and an air compressor and some stuff like that. You've got outdoor 12-volt power and a cable TV hookup if you were so inclined to use the antenna, which I'm not. You got a couple power outlets for 110, which is cool because you can bring the induction cooktop out here and cook outside.
Okay.
In here, which I was kind of like suspicious about this at first. So it actually has some propane tanks, just the kind of tanks you'd pick up at Home Depot. And these guys run the heat, so it's not diesel heat, it's the Truma heat.
Truma Combi.
Yep. And then it has the Truma AquaGo on-demand hot water heater.
Nice.
So those are the two principal things that run off of the propane. It also has a Onan generator that runs on propane. I'll talk about it on the other side.
Okay.
I don't use it that much, but it is interesting. You got a quick connect for your propane here, so if you want to hook a grill or a propane fire pit right there. But this is probably outside the star of the show here. So back here you have this huge garage, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up while you're showing in here. You could sleep another person in this thing back here if you wanted, because it opens up all the way around, and you can see I've got my mountain bike in there. This is heated and it is lit with power outlets and 12-volt back here from the factory. And so like all your gear, all your toys, throw them back here, charge your bike, e-bikes as you go, plug in drills and chainsaws like I've got over here on the other side. And it's great because you can access it really from any direction.
Oh yeah, this is really nice for a garage.
Yeah.
Sure is.
And like I said, if it was empty, you could literally put a mattress back there and sleep another person because it is heated. And so, you know, it could be freezing outside and it's heated just like the rest of the RV.
That is really cool.
And they did these like CNC machine molly panel kind of things on the doors here. And so I put a little outdoor trash can in here. Pretty cool.
That is a nice setup.
One thing that I haven't really used that much is it also has a 270 Alucab awning on it.
Oh wow.
So this guy opens up and it goes all the way around the back and covers the back here. Yeah. And you can actually deploy this thing without deploying any legs down. It's got strong enough arms.
Strong enough arms.
Yep. And so that comes around and it hooks to a spot over there by the ladder. And I haven't used it that much, but it's a pretty cool option to have. There's an awning on the other side too that we'll take a look at in a minute.
Yeah, that's nice. And it's not up so high that it's not usable.
Yeah.
They put it right down the middle. I noticed your other one's up pretty high, but that's probably all electric and
it is
self.
Yeah, the other one's super high. That is the nice thing about this one. Like if you're like going to be in a spot for several days, maybe at a mountain bike event or a trail race,
bike, have your bike outside.
Working on the bike,
here.
It's raining.
Yep.
It's like it's a functional, usable awning that covers this whole garage area.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And that was a package on the vehicle.
It's an option on the vehicle.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So they really thought this out pretty well.
Yeah, as we get in here too, they really they were targeting, you know, they've got their Revel model, but this one is basically kind of the Revel concept, but a little bit bigger. So you've got 50 gallons of water. And so this, I didn't unlock this cabinet, but this is all of your water fill and everything here. Okay. So 50 gallons of water, an outdoor shower, you access here. The water tanks are inside, the plumbing's inside. So again, four season kind of thinking. And then when we get into lithium and solar and some of that kind of stuff, this guy's designed to be out like this for weeks at a time, not plugged in, because I'm not a plug-in RV kind of guy. Yeah, like I'm not going to roll into a campground and. Yep. This is your outdoor power connection there, 30 amp. Also right here, you got a port for external solar. Oh, nice. So I've got a flexible solar panel in the garage back there. So if like I'm camped under some trees, but there's sun over there, you can deploy that panel out there, plug it in there and get some extra solar. Very nice. There. This, so there's just a few options and configurations you can do on these. So the option that I did here on this one was in here. You've got that propane Onan generator. Right. It's 2,500 watt, and I don't run the generator because most of the thing I do either off solar or I get off the alternator. But it was kind of one of those thought processes. Is like you roll in somewhere, you need to run the air conditioning for 30 minutes to cool it on the inside before you go to sleep, and then cut everything off. That was kind of the thinking there.
Nice.
Cassette toilet, which we'll get into more inside, which has been really cool, kind of easy to deal with. I fell in love with this kind of setup in Scotland.
Okay.
Spent a month over there this summer, and then in here you've got your kind of main area for your batteries. So it's Lithionics batteries. So the default configuration from Winnebago, if you get the generator option, is it comes with one 325 amp hour lithium Lithionics battery. But you can see here that there is an option where they ship it with 2 Lithionics batteries if you don't get the generator. So it's kind of a weird configuration from Winnebago. Gotcha. You either get 2 Lithionics batteries and no generator, or a generator and 1 Lithionics battery, but you can option and add the second battery
if you wanted to.
Why not get the generator, 1 battery, and then you just add the second one?
Yep.
Although I have never run this empty on just one 325
so
amp hour.
kind of thought about the time frame that somebody would be out there and what they would need.
Yep.
And without any extra.
Yeah, exactly. You got I think it's 525 or 545 watts of Zamp solar on the roof.
Okay.
So that kind of pretty well keeps up with the lithium battery, unless you're doing a lot of induction cooking and things like that. It has a second alternator on the engine just for charging the batteries that charges, typically I see it charging at about 2,800 watts.
Jeez.
So it'll refill that battery in an hour of driving.
Yeah.
It really recharges fast. And so what I find is, even staying in a campsite for 2 or 3 days, when I get ready to move to the next spot, by the time that I get back to pavement, my battery's already full again.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive system from Mercedes. We talked about that a little bit.
And what tires are you running on this?
So this is what came on it. This is the Hankook Dynapro AT2s. They've been pretty good so far. I've got those tires that you're looking at there have right around 16,000 miles on them.
Oh wow, okay.
And so they're wearing pretty good. Wearing actually pretty similar to my KO2s.
Okay.
It is dually in the back.
Yep.
There is a super single conversion that people do, and I have not opted to do that yet. I don't know exactly how I feel about it, having one big tire back there with as heavy and as high as this thing is.
Yeah.
And I'm not rock crawling in this, so I'm not too worried about rocks getting caught in the duals. But
absolutely.
A little light out here, so if you're working on the water and stuff at night, you got a little porch light, utility light there. I got Starlink on the roof, Starlink Mini on the roof.
And how much does that pull?
The Starlink Mini, so I had the Gen 2 on my other van.
Right.
The Starlink Mini, once it kind of boots up and settles down, I think I average about 20 watts.
That's pretty wild. I mean, that's quite a difference, because I have the Gen 2 also, and it pulls a heck of a lot more than that.
65 sometimes.
Watts.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I've seen it settle down, my Gen 2, into the mid 40s.
Okay.
But the Mini's half the power consumption.
So mine's actually about 45 because I converted it to 12 volts.
Oh, you run off 12 volt.
Yeah. So, but still, I mean, that's double.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
And I'm still running off 110, 120 on the Mini and getting 20 watts. So you probably convert it and get lower than that. Yeah. I checked last night though when I rolled up to camp, it's 245 megabits a second. Right here where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, you look at kind of where we're at here, there are trees all around us, and anymore with Starlink, like, you literally just have to have an open view of the sky.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah, and my Mini's pointed straight up.
Yeah.
And so it's just getting right there.
Yep, absolutely. Well, cool. You want to show us the inside of this thing?
Come on inside.
All
Let's
right.
go. All right, so the inside here, for one thing I'll point out, so if you watch these steps here when you open this door, it's kind of cool. They go back up out of the way. I know that's kind of a trivial thing, but I like it. So the door, big, thick, heavy, beefy door, insulated well like the rest of the van. And then you've got a separate screen door, which is supposed to be dog-proof, if you look at the inside here.
Yeah.
So if you got pups that you're keeping inside or things like that.
And you have a dog that sometimes travels with you.
Got a couple German Shepherds, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, come on in. So this front area here does a few different configurations, and this trip is the first time I'm trying out this configuration here with the table. So the table swivels a couple different directions, and this area I've made into a couch, so you can set a couple people here, 1 or 2 people here, and then these front 2 seats rotate. So you can set 5 or 6 people around this thing, like if you wanted to have dinner, if you wanted to like play a board game or cards.
Yeah.
And I've been using it to, work on my laptop, take calls, stuff like that this trip. I haven't even pulled the protective film off the table yet. But it's kind of nice because you can just slide it out of the way and then access the driving area here. This area also makes a bed, so you can sleep an extra person across here. The table goes down in between and then the cushions go across. And then the other configuration where I normally kept it most of the time is this actually sits this direction, and there's I call it a laptop desk that comes up right here. And so you've just got a little laptop work desk, keeps this aisle completely open.
Oh, nice.
And that's the way that I run it most of the time. But I tell you, after using this configuration, I may keep it this way.
Yeah.
I really like it. It came with this thermal barrier. I use it also kind of as a privacy curtain, but in the winter it's great because then you're only heating the back part here and you're not losing the heat through the glass.
For sure.
And I just leave it attached and shove it up into the storage bins. When it was all nice and folded up and in one of the storage bins and this whole area was open, but it's so easy to put up and take down like this that I just leave it like that. Right. The power outlets and USB, as we go through this video, you're going to see them everywhere. So you got your regular house plugs here, USB-C and USB-A, and a regular car power port. It's like cigarette lighter plug right there. And they're everywhere. So if you look on the other side in the exact same spot, you have the exact same configuration. Two power outlets, USB-C, USB-A, and a 12 volt.
Yep.
And then underneath that cabinet that you're right there by, Brad, if you look under there, you've got a little bit of airline track for accessories. And then this guy is actually a light.
Yep. Okay.
And then you've got the same thing over here where you've got the airline track.
Nice. And
then the touch lights there as well. Up here, just I use for pantry stuff, so food and coffee and stuff like that. And then in these storage parts, I keep jackets most of the time, jackets and hats. I just shove back into there.
Stuff.
Little utility cabinet there. I keep like first aid kit, some of that kind of stuff right there, easily accessible. The windows are pretty cool. So they're like an Arctic Tern style window. I don't know if they actually are Arctic Tern, but they're very similar. So they're double pane, and you've got different levels that you can open them up to. But you can open them way up. Then you've got a pull down screen, and you've got a pull up blackout shade.
I so wish I had those in my rig.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Andy had them in his Ambo.
You have the flat ones, right?
What's that?
You don't have the bubble ones. You have the flat ones. So from the outside,
they're mostly flat. Yeah. Andy had these. He put these in his Ambo, and they were just the coolest windows. And so when I saw them in this, I was like, "That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I definitely want to get those." They make an option that has a TV up here with a sound bar.
Oh wow!
I did not get that option because I don't sit in the van in campsites and watch TV. I sit outside or I go running or trailwagging. So if you don't get the TV, you get a little cargo net, which I think is great because I keep headlamps up here, like stuff that I'm going to grab, quickly. And so that works pretty well. The cockpit up here is just all Mercedes. It's got the navigation, the touch screen, and I've got an iPad and a Garmin Overlander up there for finding campsites and navigation and some of that kind of stuff.
And do these front seats turn around?
They do. It's the Mercedes factory swivel, so they will just rotate basically 360 degrees. Both of them do, and so you can turn this whole thing into a big lounge area up front here.
Big old party time right here.
Yeah. It's great for party, great for work. It works pretty well. And there's seatbelts here and here, so for your passengers, they're in seatbelts too.
Really nice. Yeah. I get that a lot from people. Like, what would you do if you have passengers in your rig in the back? Are you have any seatbelts? Like, nope.
Put them on the roof rack and ratchet strap them down.
I don't put them in the back. Yeah, I don't put them in the back, and for that exact reason.
Yeah. Up here, you've got a Max Air fan. It's an interesting one, so it works on a remote, but they have, for whatever reason, Winnebago has designed this so that it only goes one way. It only exhausts out, so you can't set this to bring in. It only exhausts out, which makes sense because if you crack the windows in the back, like we were talking last night, that's where you get all your air from anyway.
Get your air from.
And so you just exhaust out. I also exhaust out when I'm cooking, so I'll open. When I'm cooking, what I end up doing is I'll open this guy up a little bit. The other cool thing about these windows is they've got two positions. So you've got obviously the open position here, but you can go to this kind of barely open position and then relock them. So if you're running the fan, the window can be locked. and you can still get air draw through.
Okay.
But like cooking, I end up opening this guy up here, turn that max air fan on, and it just takes everything kind of right up through there. So cooking, you've got in here a single burner true induction cooktop. Sometimes I cook with it just in the drawer. Sometimes I bring it out and I set it up here. There is an extra insert that you can put here that gives you extra counter space, but then you're kind of trapped back here, so most of the time I just leave it in there. And then that plugs in, you got a GFI outlet right here that plugs into. And your controls for like your interior lights, your exterior steps, awning, and a master power switch are right there as well. Kind of handy just to reach in from the outside.
Yeah, for sure.
In here, you get pretty decent drawer space. So, I've just got like silverware and stuff like that in here. Down below, I keep like paper towels and Ziplocs and that kind of stuff. And then here you've got a actually really large sink. We were talking about large sinks last night, and how you use a lot of water filling up a really large sink.
Yeah.
I actually don't use that much, and I keep it covered most of the time. But you do have a pull-out faucet, so if you're washing dishes and you want to use the sprayer, that works pretty well. Up here, probably cook with this more than I ever have cooked with a microwave ever. So you got a convection microwave, so you can bake in this, or you can microwave. Nice. And that's actually been pretty good. And then everywhere you got these little touch lights, so it's nice. Like if you're cooking and prepping and it's dark, you can just reach under here and get another light. You're not fumbling to find a switch anywhere or anything like that. Over here on this side, hey Lily. This guy has a really big fridge. With not much in it right now, but not as big as a house fridge, but pretty darn big fridge for a camper or an RV. Runs off 12 volt, seems to be pretty power efficient. Not as efficient as like your fridge or like the ARBs or anything like that, but it does pretty good. It's a Norcold, and it has a freezer as well. So actually I think I do have some ice and a frozen steak in the freezer up there. All your controls for your solar, your generator, inverter, everything is up here. You've also got your fresh water levels up here and your gray water levels. 50 gallons of fresh water, as I mentioned, and 51 or 52 gallons of gray water. Nice. So you're kind of equal in capacity there.
And those are all heated?
Those are all heated.
Nice.
Yes, so you don't have to worry about it.
So this is a true four-season setup.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The other thing that's really cool too, so putting the Starlink on the roof really easy. If you look up in that cabinet there in the back, you'll see a roof access port. So it came basically pre-wired or pre-plumbed with a way to get cables through the roof. And so all I had to do with the Starlink was drill a little small hole in this plastic housing up top, run the Starlink cable through, and then that port was already through the roof. So it made took the stress out of having to drill a hole in the roof of a new vehicle and everything. So that's been pretty good. You've got some storage under the sink here where I keep like some pots and pans and cleaning stuff, things like that.
And are these magnetized? How are these locks done?
So they've got a latch, as you can see right there.
Okay.
And in here I keep a little coffee pot and coffee and olive oil and that kind of stuff there. Yeah. Going back into the bedroom here, it does have a privacy curtain. I very rarely ever use it. Coming into the bedroom back here, it's kind of an interesting setup. So we're setting above the garage, obviously. Right. And the way that I keep it configured most of the time is in a twin bed setup. So you got twin beds on both sides. This nightstand folds down to right here to make one big king, if you want to do that. And it's got a couple cup holders, right there, and a nice hard plastic top. When I'm traveling by myself, this second bed, as you can see, kind of becomes a little bit of a gear catch-all. Yeah, where I put clothes and stuff like that in there. On both sides of the beds, you have a drawer for clothes. And right here you have a hanging closet. And both sides have it. The other thing that's kind of cool that I didn't know when I was first getting into this is these guys actually are on struts, and you can access them this way as well.
That is really cool.
And both sides have it. And so there's a drawer, there's the hanging closet where you can see I've just got junk in there.
System also.
Yeah.
How do you like sleeping with that?
I like it. Sarah, she's not so sure about it, but I find it to be very comfortable. You got some storage up above both sides here, where I keep like some jackets and towels and stuff like that, but also more power outlets, right? So back here, you got your regular house plug, USB-A, USB-C, 12 volt, and then in here, there's the same thing again, regular house plugs, USB-A, 12 volt, and then these guys, you got a reading light on both sides that's telescopic. Yeah, these are probably one of my most favorite features of this thing inside, is you get these big windows.
Oh yeah.
And so you can open them up, and you're just sleeping outside.
Yeah.
At that point, so that's really cool. And then they have the same thing. You got your screen, you got your blackout shades, all of that kind of stuff. This one does have roof air conditioning in this model because it doesn't have the pop top. The roof air sets forward, and so into the bedroom here, you just got vents. Oh, nice. And so it's pretty quiet back here. So let me show you in here, because this is another really kind of unique feature about the Ekko. So, wait a minute, JP, you're just showing us the bathroom. What's the big deal? Let me turn the light on. So if you want to kind of show in here to start, you've got the cassette toilet I was talking about earlier from the outside, and it swivels if you're so inclined that you want to turn a different direction. Okay. And you've got a sink and a mirror there, and a little medicine cabinet up here. And then same shades and same kind of window style back here, which is pretty cool. But I think kind of the one of the really most unique features about this, and one of we talked earlier about why'd you pick this kind of vehicle. Yeah. Like if I'm headed to a client meeting and I don't want to have time, or I don't want to find a Planet Fitness to take a shower, this wall rotates, and there's your full shower.
Closes off. That is so cool.
With on-demand hot water. It's really cool.
Kind of a true wet bath combination.
Yeah, and it works great. A shower typically takes me about 7 gallons of water, and you've got 50 gallons on board. So we did some meetings and some filming in Moab in October or so of last year. We were in one spot for a week, also trail running and mountain biking every day. I think I took 3 showers that week in that spot. The van never moved. Yeah. And I still had plenty of water.
That's nice.
That's a really cool feature. Yeah.
What's the longest you think you could stay out with what you've had?
That's a great question. So even with 50 gallons of water, and if you're not showering, you can stay out a really long time. But if you're going to shower and stuff like that, and the storage and food, I mean, you could stay out a month, easy.
Yeah. That's what you think, one person.
Yeah.
With food and everything that you could.
Yeah, one, maybe 2. Yeah. I mean, you might get 2 if you're smart about it and you do a lot of dry foods.
If you knew you were going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could probably stretch it more. I thought the propane was going to be the limiting factor because I'm like, how
propane uses so little.
It's so little.
It's crazy.
It's like coming from the diesel heater in the other van that had like the big diesel tank, where I could go, you could probably stay 6 months in one spot and run the diesel heater. I was like, propane's going to be the limiting factor here, and it has not been. Yeah. The coldest that I've camped in this, I had client meetings in Iowa, and the ambient temperature was minus 13. I made a video about it, and the wind chill was minus 22. And I'm like, is this thing going to keep up, like with it being that cold? And I slept in it a week in downtown Des Moines, Iowa, with it being that far below zero, and it was fine.
Do you know what the roof in this is?
Well, I am 5'11", and so what do you think? 6'6", 6'7"?
Yeah, just about.
Probably about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And the bed, same thing. I think the bed is like 6. Don't quote me exactly on this, but it's 6'7", 6'9", so you could be a tall person and
still sleep on it.
Still sleep in this. Yeah. It's been great, and it's traveled really well. Fuel economy, as I mentioned, if you put on a podcast and drive 65, you'll get 18 or more. Yeah. If you jump up to 75, you'll still be okay, but you'll drop down to like high 14s, low 15s.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool, man. Well, I think you guys got to agree. This thing is pretty dope. I mean, you don't get to see these very often, something like this. So if you're looking for something in this kind of area, where you can also travel for your family, which is so cool because of the seat belts. That's a big thing everybody always asks about in different rigs. This is definitely one of, what can I ask, what's the going rate of one of these new from the factory?
So Winnebago lists them at $265.
Okay.
They don't sell for that.
Okay.
So negotiate.
Gotcha. Yep. Gotcha. Yep. Very cool, man. Well, dude, it's been so cool hanging out with you.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it.
See you and checking out your new rig, dude. I can't wait till we can do some more camping.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it was great to see you. Great to see Lily. It's been too long.
Yeah. About once a year we get to see each other. So this will be 2 years if he goes to Expo. Yeah. Which we'll see if he makes it to Expo or not. Check out JP on his channel again.
Big Sexy Beast Adventures.
Big Sexy Beast Adventures. You gotta love saying that, right?
It catches attention.
He's got the beard for it, right?
That's right. That's right.
He's a Sasquatch hunter, by trade. No.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you.